What are we meant to learn from an affair book? Today, Vanity Fair published this excerpt from Belle Burden's new book. I did not know who she was, and this is not an ad, I promise. I'm going to make a point. I read the entire thing because I was like, who is this? And then I realized that her grandmother was Babe Paley. I also looked up her viral modern love article. Babe Paley was a socialite in the 50s who married two very powerful men. At first, she was married to a Mortimer. If you watch Roni, you know exactly what that means. And then she married the guy who ran, William Paley, who ran CBS for 18 years. She was often referred to as the most beautiful woman of the 20th century, and she was known to have impeccable style and impeccable grace. She was also very close friends with Truman Capote, and I'm sure you know where this is going. Truman Capote betrayed her when he wrote his flop book about his friends, all of the swans, and of course all of those women turned on him. Babe Paley never spoke to him again. And this was all covered in the FX show. Sorry that the picture's not bigger. I can't go and make them all different sizes. I will make it a little bigger for this one moment. Babe Paley was played by Naomi Watts, and he exposed the fact that her husband was cheating on her nonstop. I'm not going to post screenshots here. Go read it. It is very good. In her excerpt, Belle Burden talks about the fact that this happens to many women in her family, and that when her husband cheated on her, she was like, am I supposed to stay? One of the things that I thought was really interesting here is that she actually covers one of the TikTok discourses. I saw this post this morning about the bad husband post being cultural, and it made perfect sense to me, right? Every single day on this app, we see a video from a woman who says, my husband, I got him an Xbox, he got me a butter dish, and now I'm not talking to him. Or my husband got me dog food. Or my husband sprayed champagne all over me at our wedding. Or countless other examples of just men treating women horribly. They get on this app to complain about them because it is a cultural thing where they're like, oh, but this is what we do, right? This is what modern marriage is. We say, my husband sucks. And then another woman says, my husband sucks too. And you guys smile and laugh. The problem is that when you get on the internet, we're all speaking different cultural languages, and you should go watch this original video. And she's saying that we are going to be the ones who are like, leave him, right? I think of books like Liars, which I read last year or the year before, and I had a very, very big issue with this idea that when a lot of people are stuck in these very bad marriages, a lot of people then write these books. Men Have Called Her Crazy, which is not an affair book, but is a divorce book. This American Ex-Wife, which is a divorce book. Splinters, which is a divorce book. The TikTok discourse that Belle Burden tapped into was this idea of financial instability. She let her husband control all of the money, and they modified their prenup 5 days before the wedding. All the money that he made while they were married, he would keep for himself, right? So he doesn't have to split that, and that's what she's devastated by. Because as she says in the article, she is one of those women who was letting her husband control all of the bills, right? He handled all of the finances. On here, a couple of weeks ago, there was that discourse where a woman, a stay-at-home mom, got on here and she said, I let my husband pay all of the bills. I don't have any access to the money. We're getting divorced. I have no money. I have no job. I haven't been in the workforce for 7 years. I don't know what to do. Hundreds of women came forward to say, oh my God, this happened to me. This happened to me. And a lot of the stay-at-home moms on here were like, that'll never happen to me. My husband loves me. He's my king. He's my everything. And it's like, okay, well, sure. When I think about examples like this from these books, I'm saying there are two different types of people, right? There are people who can learn a lesson by hearing it, right? I am all earth in my chart. I am a Capricorn stellium. I'm very much like, well, that's not going to happen to me. I'm built different. And then there are people who learn by doing, right? There are people who have to experience this, because I keep wondering, there are so many of these books. I just showed you 4 different examples that came out in the last 2 years, and there are a bunch that I'm missing, right? There was the divorce anthology. There was the one that came out a couple of months ago by the woman who's very big in the Christian space. Every couple of months, we get a book by a woman who is 40 to 45 to 50 who is getting divorced and says, don't make the mistakes that I made. And yet everyone ignores her. I think the point that I'm trying to make is that there are women who are trying to warn other women, right? Like Belle Burden, I'm going to read her book because I'm clocked in. And I love a cheating book, unfortunately. I spend all my time reading cheating books. There are women who are like, this happened to me, learn from me. And yet there are always going to be people who are like, that's not going to happen to me. And then we'll check back in 10 years. When I say I'm built different, I was being a little bit facetious, right? I was joking. Don't attack me for that. But what I am saying is that there are many, 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 many women on here on the internet who are willing to teach other women lessons, right? Obviously, I'm not a woman, but who are willing to teach other women lessons and are saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Listen to the red flags. And unfortunately, there are always going to be women who have to learn those lessons by doing, right? And I think that's what happened to Belle Burden, where she was like, my grandma got cheated on, my mom got cheated on, I got cheated on, and now my husband left and took all the money. Anyway, I'll circle back to this when I read the book, and there's another video that I want to make that I will make tomorrow.